finish, go tell Telemundo, which is, by the way, what's Telemundo? It is actually the largest broadcaster in the United States of America. So, go imagine. So, anyone who's finished, tell them that this is a group continuing the discussion. We have WhatsApp, Pascal. Oh, great. Can you go over there? No, for God.
Hey, teamwork!
Do we have any other panelists here? Oh, Pat was here. I'm here. Oh, I'll put them straight. Isla's not here, but I'm sure it's So here's the interesting thing anyway. What we were going to do in the next 5 minutes is take questions. So, you guys have any questions for these guys about everyday intersecting with journalism? Eric.
Hi. Question about when it comes to covering, that's kind of talked about before, but when it comes to covering online movements to this degree, is it possible that the reason why journalists haven't been able to accurate information is because they're not really new mediums online, specifically like Twitter?
We're over here by the house, the big ground. Where are you?
Because a lot of journalists unfortunately don't go online on these questions on a regular basis.
I don't think that's right.
They moved over here. You see where the overhang is here?
I regular people by using message boards, by using anything online that I can find. So I don't think that is.
Yeah. I'm standing right by the fence. I'm in fact standing in the way.
I think I can certainly have some.
Isn't it also, I mean, you see other journalists, you see people who are identifying as journalists, do you think that they're following some sort of ethics that any other journalists would follow as far as reporting the story, even though it's not their way? You would still assume, like with other journalists, that there's some sort of ethics going on there, and that reporting from them, because they seem to be typing this lot of it's a lot of links that it's fine reporting what they say.
I mean, for me, for my team, we don't just let someone else and report it as fact. We self-verify everything we can. So we don't do that. But do I think that maybe some people do? Probably. That would not be considered ethical under a standard.
On that,
if I can say something about my point, because I think I think it's less than a cluster, and I think even for people who have online experience, online conflicts, like when you have two sides kind of going at each other online, can be really difficult to sort out, like in terms of who was responding to what, like when, especially when you have each side saying, oh well, the other started this, or like this was a fake post, you know, like this was, where like this was somebody posing as somebody else. There have been these waves of like chat room discussions, and sometimes a lot hinges on, well, like what was the timestamp of this chat room discussion, and were they trying to, it's very hard to do stuff. And I mean, I have experience with this actually because I've spent some time on message boards that were related to very different things, but I actually did once by myself in the middle of a message board war, and it's very difficult to sort out because you have people attacking each other, each side claiming that they're the ones being attacked, and I think it is very difficult. So I think to some extent I think that was a problem, but again I think it was also an issue of going on the different side.
In addition to that, I mean, you all have your own language that you speak that I know a little bit about Gamergate, don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, I don't speak my language either. I'm not a
right. But I think a lot of journalists see that and they're like, well, I can't even do this. Like, how do I get this? You can send me an email.
no, I don't.
But you just had an example when I first went to NBC and San Diego, where a congressional candidate was accused of sexual harassment. They were flashing us all these emails, things of timestamps before making the information. We brought in technical experts that were outside of our company that were independent to verify all this before we ever aired it. We were looking at text messages, we were looking at metadata, we were looking at all of this before they even made it to my editor, let alone any So I mean, it does happen. It takes a lot of time, and it's not something that someone makes an accusation on Twitter and you can immediately report about that. You have to go through the ethics steps.
Mainstream media showed out. Just marshmallow.
This is really inspiration to see that people stay. Usually a long correct decided to stay here and continue the cause and devoted to the mission and not have one crash. So that is remarkable. So those places where this happens every day, everyone leaves and goes home and they hope that they stay alive. And
That way we'll let us have our cars.
Or if it is, the road is fine. It's actually right. You can work on the road.
So, are you saying that you're one of the people that journalists want to call this information?
No, I would not judge it. My YouTube channel, I try to explain the internet things are dangerous. I like culture. I mean, I just I'm not a politician. At the time I want to be an politician, but I would never. So, big time will. But no, yes, when we're trying to explain things, I want it's like I really don't like journalists. It's like bad journalists. So like if yeah, no, you guys are checking yeah.
I do. Really.
The secret sponsor, you know what they're working. And let me rip off that camera. Everybody knows people like you guys how that works.
I don't want to pull it out.
Yeah, no, I got you.
It doesn't really work well.
That's okay. We fucking hate each other.
No one can ask me questions.
I don't feel like trying to shoot.
I said, people, they can go to the other side of the story. So, it's not a question of not knowing.
But at least if there's a list out there and you see a story that's one-sided, it's like, here's this list. How did you not know
Kim.
Because part of the problem also be that everyone's always trying to get like the biggest slice of the news out there, trying to get as big ratings. So a lot of people are not doing as much fact checking as they should. They're trying to get out that information. Yeah, and sometimes certain articles and certain topics just sell more, and then it's trying to put it out instead of like verifying it one.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I mean, women getting harassed by, throngs of basement dwelling, insane.
Yeah, I have a beard. In all fairness, I do have a neck.
Makes really right. And I mean,
I can see this one is gamer who trespasses on them property.
Sorry.
Oh boy.
I don't know Oliver.
Yeah.
It's like I'm back in the game.
every time you try to leave from
You're an expert. You should be up here answering some of these questions. Fair enough? All right. Aaron's going to take over as moderator of the questions. Oliver Campbell.
That's good.
Yes. Hello. I hear you're in charge.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah, let's do a video.
I am Rebel Forum. I'm a producer of Twitter and things we do. All kinds of projects. Really hot.
I'm Lynn Walsh. I'm with the Society of Professional Journalists. I also sit in the ethics committee and help redo the ethics of the last year.
Kathy Young, I'm my columnist for Tuesday, and I'm also the editor of Racing Magazine. And I write for a bunch of different places that I'm on. But anyway, that's what I do. I write about culture issues about Gamergate.
I have to go home and shower first though. Like I feel disgusting.
Mark said I have action points and I talk about games.
Paul Campbell, fiction author, former game journalist, one of the big voices for Gamergate, and I'm really high.
Ashley Scout with the Washington Examiner. I'm an opinion writer, and I've been a gamer my whole life, so I'm just tired of this narrative that gamers are all
I'm Aaron Brown, acting moderator from Game Journalism Network YouTube channel, and we have a quick question from here. Yeah.
So all day we've been talking about ethics in journalism. We've been talking about how gamers should talk to the media. My question is how can groups like Gamergate combat issues or overcome issues where you have editors colluding with each other on these journalistic email lists, basically deciding who to talk to and what story to run, when we're trying to tell our side of the story? How do we overcome
You guys want me to get background to talk about? So, right, there was a mailing list that the game press had called the Game Journalist. And one, you think it might be because they were giving advice. They can carry out things like someone they might blacklist. If someone system didn't like, they would say they were actually hostile for it. And it was an advantage to be on that list because you're getting very expensive stuff. I mean, it's at the very base level of you have two competing outlets saying which should we all print. It's like which
one of them was a ghost hunter.
Alright, perfect. Great. Have a great time.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Is there a gaming expert here?
Yes.
Is that you? Well, then you should have said you want an opinion on gaming. So were you here for the conference or you part of
the story not covered, like in the story, the story that kind of had the whole story with, game designer,
so
collusion with game journalists. There were certain aspects of the story, like, where she had also been accused of harassing some, or, this group that was doing a gaming contest. Again, this is all very complicated stuff, but quite interesting. But there was a conscious decision made not to cover that part at all, even though that was part of the reason that some people kind of had a grudge against her because, she had been involved in some questionable behavior toward this other guy. So, it's and it's a thing on hold. So I think.
Going back to the core question that we asked, what can people do about this?
How can Gamergate overcome that gamers of what to run, what not to run, what we're saying versus what they're saying?
Well, I have an idea. I mean, if you don't mind me taking the stage again? Okay. So I think the way to get around that is to try to find journalists who you think are going to give you a fair shake. Like, there are people who are not part of this. Like, you should sort of go outside and try to find people who you think are going to give you a fair shake. And, try to get them. I mean, in my case, nobody really had to contact me, but, if somebody had, if I had really paid attention to the story of somebody would become interested in that. So I think, just looking for engagement, who kind of
And I was like, I actually have this. And the way that I looked at this, I thought about it. As my journalism, I said journalism and medicine are actually when you go to school, I'm educated on just in terms of education, it comes along with why? Because what is journalism? Journalism is communication. And that's what it is. It's not this job. They're talking about what you know. And what it happens over time, they can share information with each other. And journalists must adapt to the way that people have a conversation. It's not the people's responsibility to speak journalism. No, it's the journalist's responsibility to speak people. And if people are going to Reddit, or they're going to Twitter, or they're going to, social media, wherever they're having their conversations, journalists are going to have to learn how to break down those places that are speaking and have their own terms of lingo. And they're going to have to learn how to decipher that. It's not just supposed to go, well, it's just something you're going to say, or it's like, well, that's your job. You got it. You have to communication. It's professional. You're going to have to learn how to communicate. I mean, it's not really any different than, a language school. I don't want to go through the situation where so I'm just going to I heard for myself.
What is the moral obligation? There's a moral obligation that these guys can have their own. Absolutely. Because what are athletes? Tyler said earlier, what he said, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they talked about that if you're not covering it properly, then you don't really know.
I guys way don't rely on drinking that didn't happen. You understand that. And there's a
They shouldn't do it, and as far as I know, that form of taxation, that doesn't happen very often. I'm sure it happens.
I don't think so. Like, I've experienced in the past, it's cold from there and anybody, it's not like you find out.
Journalists are usually considered
So it's almost, I don't think we're
I'm not sitting there asking the competition, but they're covering it, especially with information, or if you're not the consumer, if they're going to share this fact or leave this fact out. Absolutely not. We wouldn't even be talking about covering it, or I wouldn't even tell them if I'm covering the story. Because it's just that they're setting a thing.
I want to know what people are saying, but I want to know what people are saying.
as far as I can see,
No, I mean, like, what are people saying on TikTok in action? They do an article on doing politics. I'm pretty sure we will be. I wonder if that's what Crash Override did.
Also,
And then once you show, that's not going to happen. There's a mainstream found on their desk, telling you a great story, and you made it to the point of this that's going on right now.
wait a minute, I got an idea. How about a bomb threat on people
That's why.
I can see in the past I took the Gamergate time machine again.
This is the second time. I do want to say something about the bomb because, like, okay, when you're sitting in a local newsroom and these are decisions that we're making every day, there might be a bomb threat, let's say, here, there's that 3 blocks that has nothing to do with Gamergate, and maybe there are 4 streets closed off and it's causing traffic delays, and that is why they might cover it versus a bomb threat that it doesn't have any streets blocked off, and everyone is evacuated and there really isn't a threat. So all those assessment things go into play. I hope that just because there's a bomb threat now they're happy they're getting coverage because unfortunately it has nothing to do with that. So I hope like people understand your loss of
It happened in DC. There wasn't that much coverage anyway.
So I know, but I hope that's just
Thank you for bringing that up. That's exactly my idea. Yeah, from here, first year, we're going to go to you, and then we'll go around to the so, yes.
I think that you said before that you should get new beat reporters to cover gamers if since it's all flawed and racist, you know.
That's the way that's the easiest to do, I think, though.
Yeah.
The current people.
It's the easiest sounding.
Yeah.
Right. So is the suggestion that you should get people that understand gaming better or are included in the gaming community? Because it seems kind of like a catch-22 because before we were arguing that the reporters were too close to the gamers and that's what caused unfair reporting.
So I can kind of counter that a little bit myself. Back when Gamergate started, like way back, and I saw that this was going on. You know, from a journalism background myself, I saw the this was awesome. And rather than something, I can't go with I actually tested my game. This guy actually played games now, and he kind of said, well, I'm a gamer first, or second. I know this subject, and that's why I think Gamergate's always like this, right? Anyway, we're talking about games, we're talking
No, this is your 360. Dude, I could hug you right now. I mean, I won't. But you're Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. I mean, I had to plan ahead just to make sure in case something like this happens. So.
No, I mean, Moto 360, 2 Nexuses.
Yeah.
Share the rest of the I think that's the big thing is that right now we've got it would have been funny if anyone who calls it would be like,
You have plenty of room.
Someone's got to take some step.
So I guess it's just careful. You absolutely have to do that.
You know, if your suggestion was good, other journalists instead of game journalists, we don't feel like that's we had, I don't know if it was MSNBC or if it was CNN, but when they did it, they covered like Anita's piece on the street and accused us of being racists. They looked at the same journalists. Yeah, I was remember that. They went straight to the journalists that were saying are the ones not taking our story or portraying the bad picture. How do you counter that?
So like, okay, this is like a silly comparison, so I'll compare it to it right here. So morning news meetings in the morning. Have any of you guys ever like witnessed it, non-journalists? No. Okay. Have you watched TMZ?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, it sounds really silly, but it's actually a very similar situation. We all stand around desks. Every reporter sits there and they pitch their story for the day. How do they pitch it? They pitch it the best way, and it's going to relate to most people in the community that they're in and why it's important. They also talk about what video they have, if it's a TV version, what kind of sound do they have, who are they going to talk to. Based on that, when everyone goes around the table, everyone talks about, okay, with the resources we have, what are we going to cover today that's going to make the most impact and that's the most important to our community. If your story falls in there, whether it's Gamergate, whether it's whatever it is, it's going to get covered. But in order for it to fall in that, you have to show the journalists why is it important, why does the community care, what's the impact here, why do they need to know. And if you start kind of talking about it that way, you know, I would hope that yes, you get more coverage. I also think as far as resources and, you know, CNN or whoever it was only talking to one source, having some sort of list or some sort of resource online that if you can provide an SDJ or pointer or something, then these organizations have somewhere to go and they can talk about it. If that makes sense. So that there are other sides to it.
Now we spin it up a little bit.
I think it's worth it. We have hashtags don't last as long.
Well, something else about doctors too is different kinds of doctors. One specialized, specialty press. So there'd be a need for specialty press, and that there's only reported to specialized reports, for example, maybe it might help us on games.
We actually had a conversation about this. He actually booked specialized they get brought on to something with your happens to be right here. What in this situation we meet a lot of journalism organizations, specialists, they don't pay them, but they have like a list of
Are there specialists that we turn to? Yes, there are specialists that we turn to. It's not always the same person. We try to be diverse about it, but normally in the newsroom have sort of a list to put out there elsewhere. We'll use the same person to say, is there someone else we can use? Yes, and that happens all
It's a question of why is Gamergate here, and it's their ability to address those grievances was shut down. In fact, Gamergate has to communicate in the ways that it does through Reddit, through Twitter, through image boards, because the places where they wanted to lay these things out, in those proper forums or on the comment sections of very bloggers, things like that. They were told that they were taken away. They were not allowed to get feedback in that sense. And so, what would you do if you had a situation come up, as let's say you're the managing editor, if you had a situation come up, how would you try to prevent, a fantastic, public relations attachment for your outlet?
So we're talking about a year ago, I was the editor of a game site.
Sure.
I mean, you listen to your community, right? If your community cares about something, you report on it, you make it enforceable. It's pretty simple to me. I'm not a games journalist. I don't run a gaming website. I'm sorry that I don't.
No, it's alright.
Okay.
It's a very generalized question because I don't think it really matters if it's games. It's just about the interaction between the journalists and the public, the press, and their accounts. Like, so how do you address it?
I mean, you have a back and forth relationship with the people you serve, right? You want to make sure that you're serving them in the way that they want to be served. You want to make sure that they're happy with what you're creating. Occasionally, it doesn't always mean you have to agree with them. Occasionally, it can get contentious when, maybe what they want and what you are willing to get them doesn't align. But certainly, if a massive part of your audience cares about something, it's not a conversation you should shut down. It's a conversation you should invite in and institutionalize.
And just building off of that, what we talked about policies and, as far as correction policies and whatever a news organization might have, most news organizations, I know the ones I've worked at, have policies when it comes to public comments, like, do they remove posts on Facebook? And if they do, when do they remove it? Is it because it's something that might be of racial or, whatever it might be? They have different policies, and when those policies are in place, then you can turn to it and say, look, we're removing this comment because our policy says it's hurtful because of this reason, or we're not removing it, and here's why. And you also will see news organizations comment a lot about why they're removing something if they do remove it, or why they're not removing it, and they talk about the policy. So those kind of things are really important. And I don't know if these organizations have them, but I know it helps us because when you do have something that's controversial and people are talking about it, especially on Facebook or social media, you can say, yeah, we're going to keep those things up and here's why, or oh no, we took this down and here's why. And then have explanations and things for it.
They have policies now, but
well, that's good. That's a success, right?
Yeah.
Just gotta step away for a second, folks. Big question, right here. Is it fair to assume that the mainstream outside of gaming, is it fair to assume that they may have looked at reputable video game sites as, well, they probably have more accurate information than what I read, and because they already said this collective story that they will slot it's fair to assume that they're threatening their gaming site. Is it fair to assume that or even though as a journalist I would never assume anything, but is it fair to assume that they may have done it?
Sure, I think you make it practice, but I can see where someone would assume that someone who reports on something knows about it.
Or, and for me, it would be, like I said, if this, gaming magazine said this, I would never quote it and quote them. I would want to self-verify. But on the other side of that, if I feel that they're covering it in a way that they're constantly covering it and it seems like they're covering it so well, I may step away from it because I don't have the resources to maintain them at that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Or to go to that in-depth perspective. So we move on to another topic because there's so many things that we might have to cover.
Can I try something? So, I mean, this panel 2 now, I guess.
He's on degree.
Is there
2.5?
Is there questions you guys have? I mean,
actually, before we ask you questions, quick little announcement. According to the brief, it'll probably be another 45 minutes before we're allowed to go back. There's still 45 minutes to go. I would like to point out, we're in Miami. Time is irrelevant.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any questions?
I don't you guys feel like we're gonna have one.
I mean, the only thing I would say is, I think coming up with a list for sources, I mean, that's something that SPJ would definitely put on our website. We do have, a resource guide for journalists when it comes to different expert topics. And we try to make sure they're as diverse as possible when it comes to race, gender, beliefs, all of that. So that would be, I think, extremely helpful. I think the only other thing is, I hope that you trust, I know it might be hard because you haven't had bad experience, it seems like, but not everyone's bad. It can be, and when you have questions not just answering via email, make them call you and those kind of things.
Well, no, there's a story we're talking about with the CJ. That was just an interview, and it turned out to be bogus. So, yeah, no, I
Do we have any other questions out here?
I think I have a question.
Circle C, why don't you yell?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yell.
Yeah.
Give it over there.
Who's the sound guy? Yeah.
I just wanted to know, okay, you were talking about how, talking about finding better ways to do you think that it might be a good idea to I would argue that there are different ways that different social media, like different cultures, knowing how they work is a useful way and not just saying, oh, Twitter is just a crazy place where people are telling each other they can afford them.
I'm glad you said that because that's precisely my job.
Yeah.
I trained, 2 weeks ago I trained ESPN how to use emerging social media platforms like GitDad, YouTube, stuff like that. So,
they don't care.
It's hot, don't worry.
I mean, there are people in the industry who keep up on these trends and then we try to keep everybody up with the rest of those trends. Unfortunately, because the industry is not doing super great right now as a whole, a lot of these organizations don't have the time and money to invest in training, which makes me really sad, but it makes the industry less bad or less good. But, it's something that we do often.
Yeah, like basically, one of the things that we've seen is the perfect example of capitalism. I don't remember. I think it might have been the kind of a moment where they were asking, who is this hacker named Fortune? Right? And then one of those situations where it's just like, that's how little a lot of media actually understands about and really key signals about it.
Would you like correcting them?
And
mainstream media knows nothing about it.
They know
mainstream media for 35 years. We know nothing.
Exactly, and then it's
not
exactly
educate us.
It is something that's hard for people for like people to get into, but at the same time, it's like you said, you bring that younger kid in who kind of knows how to maneuver through the internet.
Or I'm sure there's students who want journalists.
Well, and okay, I don't want to make it an age thing either, because I will say I have.
I'm sorry.
No, but I do. I have some of the most willing, adapters to social media are some of the oldest people in my newsroom, and I love it. I teach them Twitter, I teach them all this stuff, so it's a willingness actually. It's not a way
I would suggest that it might be a good idea to actually accept that it be the dark alley because
it's not the dark alley.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Like it already just whatever. It's the dark alley. Don't go to 14. It's gonna dump you. Like no, it's really not that.
You shouldn't go to 14.
The thing is like for 4chan kills, but there image boards in general. There's so many different places where people have conversations, and it's important to not be like. I'm not gonna go, it's 4chan, like, I don't want to do it.
We don't want to go buy some sleep.
Well, at the end of the day, it's just like, don't discard a place for discussion to happen.
But you don't want to go to 4chan. There's no kind of value there.
There's no real value there.
Go to 8chan.
Maybe by 4.
But seriously, in all seriousness, whether or not you like 4chan or not is really, that's where the discussion is happening.
And you go to the discussion, like, regardless of whatever you think, like, that's what I'm trying to do.
So it's safe to use the word students. It's safe to assume that analysts should be brought in to understand this level of the internet, or people should be trained in this level of the internet.
So are you committed to doing it and you want to do it well? Yeah. I mean, if like I got sent out tomorrow to cover like HMOs and PPOs, I don't know what that stuff is. I'm gonna go talk to somebody who does, And these organizations have healthcare.
Okay, moving some of the all clear.
All right, everybody go in a single file line, follow the teacher. All right, Carmen. Let's get drunk.
We go in there, it's still on. Hey, I'm bringing my jacket.
What? Again? Going back.
It's like we swapped pounds. Ash wanted to All right.
Let's walk on the street.
That looks like a marching. Oh my gosh. That old guy just staring at us.
Yeah, he's already there. He took a photo.
Thank you.